talking about all the stuff in my pockets and I have too much. Guys, all I do is keep the essentials on me. That's all it is. So today we're gonna talk about the XMR and a high lifter. Let's get into it. All right guys, time to get serious. We're gonna start on the XMR and then we'll work over to the high lifter after. But just a brief overview on this guy. For 2025, we have a bunch of updates. Starting with the snorkel and radiator, whole new redesign, much more efficient. It's supposed to keep your machine way better breathing and way cooler. We've got some good accessories that come on the Can-Am factory. So you've got a 3,500 pound heavy duty winch attached to your XMR front bumper, as well as an added rear bumper. Sticking to the back just a little bit, you've got your 2-inch factory receiver. Coming around to the sides, we've got a 14-inch aluminum wheel with the new XPS King Swamp XL tires. These things are mean, they look fantastic. I think it's a really, really good addition for this year. We also have a updated headlight, so a much better HID, very bright. It's gonna light up everything you need to at night, give you the visibility that you need to make sure you go and where you wanna go. Can-Am also has an electronic control, so the throttle is all drive-by-wire, not drive-by-cable. And then another big thing on this is electronic power steering. Can-Am offers that on all of their XMR models, whereas you don't get that on the Polaris. New updated racks for a whole new line of accessories on these guys. Easy fit. I think it's a very good looking rack. It's very aggressive. The whole design of the machine this year is very aggressive, and I think the stance, everything on this thing is just fantastic. Props to BRP on this one this year. It's been sweet. You've got Showa suspension that gives you 13 inches of ground clearance on this guy. Very comparable to the Sportsman, as well as both of them have a 5-gallon fuel tank on them. This guy comes in at 1,071 pounds. We'll get into the Sportsman a little later, but it's 1,071 pounds. Kind of a heavy guy for an 850 and for an ATV. So I don't know what to say about that one, but that's interesting. Arch J arms on this guy. It's going to help give you better ground clearance throughout the whole thing. Sportsman, same thing. I like that you have more room in between your tire and your fender on this guy, whereas on the Sportsman, you'll see they kind of scrunch it down. Now that is going to give you a higher center of gravity, so depending on whatever you're going over or through, you got to keep that in mind, that your overall weight is a little bit higher up on this machine. Now, besides just the awesome new design on this machine, they have upped the power this year. So we have 82 horsepower out of the 850. Now, we don't have the thousands here right now, but when you go up to the 1,000, Can-Am has offered their new 101 horsepower model, which I think is absolutely insane for an ATV. 82 in the 850, plenty of power to do whatever you need. But if you want that extra bump, you can go up to 1,000 and get that good bump. That's going to finish off with the Can-Am. We're going to move on to the Sportsman, and then we'll figure out which one we think is better. All right, now we're going to jump over to the Sportsman 850 high lifter. Just going to go off of some of the obvious stuff right now. These have a high lifter Outlaw 2 tire on them on a steel wheel, still 14-inch. But I think that for a machine like this, you definitely have to go to a little bit nicer look and do something more aluminum. So more of a personal preference there. In the front, we've got a halogen headlight. I think, again, everything's going to HID. On a top-end special model like this, I think you got to update that. Kind of for the whole Sportsman, they've been running this look for a long time. I'm going to assume that they're going off the if it's not broke, don't fix it. So it works, but we could use maybe a little bit of a model update on the Sportsmans and just kind of refreshing it. Again, both 850s. So this is going to be about a 78 horsepower model versus the 82 horsepower model. Both going to have very similar gas tank sizes. So they'll both run for you basically all day. Hopefully you don't need to fill up too much. All right, looking at the serviceability on these snorkels and raised radiators on these. I like how this Polaris front clip just comes right off. Really nice. On the Outlander, you've got 2 pieces for the front. So you've got your top piece here, and then you've got your hood that kind of flops forward. Really nice. I really like how in the Outlander, your front of the radiator is very exposed, very easy to wash off.
On the Sportsman, you actually have your fans on the top. So when you're washing it off, mud, debris, whatever's on there, it's a little harder, in my opinion, to clean and especially to get everything out. You don't have a huge gap down here on the bottom of the radiator for anything to wash down. So as far as simple serviceability and just maintenance washing, I like the Outlander. As well as on the Sportsman though, you've got your coolant reservoir right here on the top. On the Outlander, you have another piece that you have to take off, the whole display piece. And then you'll have your radiator cap on one side and your reservoir on the other side. I think they could have done a little bit better on the Outlander, making it more accessible to get to that radiator cap. But it's not the biggest deal. It's not something that you're servicing all the time. On the Sportsman, to get to your filter, you do have to continue to take off more pieces of your whole front rack. And then on your Outlander, kind of the same deal. Once you have that display piece off, you have to dig a little bit further down to get to that filter. On the Sportsman, even though you have a little bit less space between your tire and your fender, you do still have 13 inches of ground clearance, going to match that on the Outlander. As far as comfort, I think that the Outlander seat is much more comfortable. You have a little bit more of a squish to it, and then the Sportsman a little bit harder. So it may last a lot longer. That's kind of why these companies use a little bit of a harder foam, but just that pleasure of sitting on a little bit more of a comfy seat, especially all day. I really like the Outlander. Moving to the back, the Sportsman has at least one piece of storage. So you have one pouch in the back that you can put some minimal stuff. And then you do have a 1.5 inch receiver or 1.25 inch receiver. Whereas on the Outlander, you have a 2-inch standard receiver, which is huge. On the odd case you ever need to pull anything with these machines, it's just easier. Take the hitch off your truck, throw it on your Outlander. Move that little trailer around or move your sprayer, your spreader, whatever it is. Easy to do. So that's going to do it for the 850s. However, both these machines do come in their thousands. The 1000cc on the Sportsman high lifter is going to give you 85 horsepower. It's only 3 more horsepower than the 850 Outlander. When you go to the 1000 Outlander, you now have a whopping 101 horsepower. It also gives you power steering. It gives you that winch and front bumper that you do not get on the 850 for the Sportsman, where again, you get it on the Outlander. You also get a premium price with that Sportsman 1000 coming in at almost $17,500. The Outlander 1000, not much better, but I like that the 850 comes with everything, so you don't have to spend all that extra money. Coming in again around that 14.3 mark. So that's going to wrap it up with these machines, guys. Let us know what you think between the two or what your choice would be. I think we're going with the Outlander. I think everything about it just kind of fits our style, gets you what you need right out of the box and ready to go. Whatever comments you guys have, leave them down below, and we'll see you here at Elway Power Sports real soon.